Welcome to the West Wing Week, your guide to everything that's happening at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. This week, the President nominated a Secretary of Defense, coded with a group of budding computer scientists, took over as host of the Colbert Report, pushed for comprehensive immigration reform, hosted a summit on high-quality early childhood education, and welcomed this year's Kennedy Center Honorees to the White House. That's December 5th to December 11th, or zeros and ones.
Zeros and ones.
On Friday morning, the President announced that Ash Carter would be his nominee to be our nation's next Secretary of Defense. The President highlighted Ash's record of leadership over more than 30 years of public service. Later, in the Oval Office, the President sat down with the King of Jordan, and then with a group of newly elected governors from across the country. Next door in the Cabinet room, the President sat down for an interview with Jeff Johnson of BET.
Part of the reason I got into politics was to figure out how can I bridge some of those gaps in understanding so that the larger country understands this is not just a black problem or a brown problem, this is an American problem.
Sunday night, the President and First Lady hosted a reception for the Kennedy Center Honorees. We caught up with the winners to ask them to reflect on the magnitude of their big night.
I have been in the White House before as an average Joe tourist, hoping to get a look at the China that President William Harrison picked out or something like that.
Never in one's lifetime did I expect to be honored with these extraordinary artists.
Well, I mean, it's very exciting. There's no place like the White House, and having received the Kennedy honors, of course, it just makes it extra special.
This is certainly something extremely special. To receive this from the greatest democracy in the world is something that I cherish.
The week got off to a royal start on Monday when Prince William dropped by the Oval Office for his first visit. Later that day, the President became the first coder-in-chief by coding with a group of middle school-age students where they rolled up their sleeves, got online together, and participated in an hour of code here at the White House.
So right here, it tells you that you have to move forward.
Okay, you gotta slow down because I'm an old man.
So right here,
So what's going on here?
you're making a block.
That afternoon, Stephen Colbert went on campus to George Washington University to sit down with the President. It was a memorable meeting of two great leaders, one of the free world, the other of medium cable ratings, as he described it. They discussed healthcare reform, the President's recent actions on immigration, and climate change.
You're glad we don't see eye to eye?
Yes, I'd be worried if I saw eye to eye with you.
You know,
On Tuesday, the President headed to Music City, Nashville, Tennessee, where he visited Casa Azafran and held a town hall focusing on immigration reform policy.
We were once strangers too.
Then on his way out of town, he stopped in for flautas at La Hacienda, a local favorite.
Can I give you a hug?
Of course we can.
Thank you so much, Mr. President.
We're very proud of you.
Meanwhile, in Memphis, Attorney General Eric Holder led the third of 5 planned Building Community Trust roundtable discussions. Born out of the President's call for an increased effort to help rebuild trust in local law enforcement and the justice system, the Attorney General met with local leaders to discuss new steps and to share best practices for community policing. Held at the Lorraine Motel, site of the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. in 1968, the Attorney General took a moment to tour the facility and reflect upon his visit.
I was an American history major in college, so from a purely historical perspective, this is something that I can really appreciate and understand, but there's also an emotional component to the time that I have spent here. I see people who sacrificed, who died, so that people like me in future generations would have the opportunities that I've had. And this is a place I think maybe every American should come. And I'm going to come back again when I have a little more time, but I want to bring my kids with me so that they can hopefully appreciate the things that their dad has done, but understand that I would not have had the opportunity to do the things that I've done without the sacrifices and the work of the people who are memorialized in this museum.
Wednesday morning, the President hosted the White House Summit on Early Education, where he announced new efforts to enhance and expand the reach of high-quality preschool programs in high-need communities all across the country.
None of us were supposed to. Those of us lucky enough to share in this country's promise now have a responsibility to ensure for all the young people coming behind us who aren't supposed to, that they have those same opportunities.
That afternoon, the President and First Lady traveled to Joint Base Anacostia Bowling, where they delivered toys and gifts donated by Executive Office of the President's staff to the Marine Corps Toys for Tots campaign.
SpongeBob's greatest hits. Love SpongeBob. T-ball. We'll play T-ball too. Hey, what is that? Symbols.
Oh, yeah.
On Thursday, the president joined a meeting of the President's Export Council, then met with the fall class of White House interns for a quarterly tradition, the Q&A with President Obama.
Start getting a sense of what are your values, what do you care about, what's important to you, what do you respect, what do you value, what satisfies you, and then work to align your behavior to what you say you care about.
As this wintry week wraps up and a new holiday week kicks off, we thank you for tuning in to your West Wing Week, and keep up with us at whitehouse.gov.
They watch comedy shows, and I just don't see the president going on one of those. They're beneath his dignity.